to another episode of Deep True Crime. I'm Manny Rodriguez. In today's episode, we're diving into the Riley Strain missing person case. Very, very odd how this has all come about. He gets thrown out of a bar. But here's the thing that it blows my mind is his fraternity brothers, I'm gonna guess somebody was with him. So not that they have any answers, and I'm not saying that, but did no one was looking out for him? Like he was pissed, drunk, and I'm just so perplexed as to how this could have happened over a weekend when he was supposed to be celebrating. He's a Mizzou student, and they have their yearly fraternity event. It's a big deal. I was in a fraternity, I get it. And they went to Nashville to celebrate. And so my guess at this time, this is still an ongoing story, that he wasn't alone in that bar. They must have known what helped get him kicked out. Because we don't really know why he got kicked out, but we do know he was very, very inebriated. And so we're gonna dive into this story as the streets of Nashville are they're wondering what happened to this University of Missouri student who just vanished after leaving Luke's 32 Bridge Food and Drink. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. We're going to go down the rabbit hole and try to see what went wrong through this. What do we know now? You see, new surveillance video has come out now. And so that's why we have little blue on screen, because we're going to end up going down the little rabbit hole to wonder why. What could this have been prevented? Is he lost in a ditch? Did an accident happen? And so we're going to dive into what are some of the possibilities. But the story as of now is he just basically disappeared at this time. But new surveillance video, it shows the missing University of Missouri student Riley Strain falling after he left Luke's 32 Bridge Food and Drink on Broadway. And so he was last seen on Friday of last week when he was at this bar. And so according to Metropolitan Nashville Police Department, he was last seen here, except that when he leaves, he's actually seen on surveillance video as he's walking down the streets of Nashville, even falling and picking himself back up. And so the Delta Chi fraternity member, he was in Tennessee, as I shared, on a group trip for their annual spring formal when he was kicked out of the bar around 10 p.m. But at this time, we don't really know what was the reason that he was kicked out. Okay, because they're going to keep this to themselves and under wrap if there is a bigger sinister thing that comes about. As of now, he just vanished. He's missing. And that's why all eyes, all ears, all mouths, we need to get his picture out there in order to see what could have happened to this young man who had so much life. He was only 22 years old. Where is he? Well, video from downtown smoke and vape shop on Church Street, it shows Strain near the intersection of 2nd Avenue and Church Street. He's seen wearing a two-tone black and brown shirt and blue jeans, taking a tumble, then quickly getting back up as he continues down the street. And so as you can see, he's stumbling. He trips on his feet. Okay, he's obviously very inebriated. And even until he leaves, it's like we don't really see much more. But he's also then seen on another camera that was caught near the intersection of Gay Street and 1st Avenue North just before 10 p.m. So at this time, if it was just before 10 p.m., they said that he was kicked out of there about 10 p.m. So somewhere around this time. Okay, but he's taking large strides with his head down as he is stumbling through the streets. Now, is it shame? Is it upsetness? We don't really know at this time. You see, his stepfather, Chris Whited, he says that we feel like when he came out, because they had been to a couple of other places, that he had got turned around on the direction. So they feel when he came out of the bar, he went the wrong way. Okay, that's what they're sharing at this time. Now, another surveillance footage that was released by the Nashville police, it showed him wobbling and appearing a little confused as he crossed a closed road near the water. Now, you can see the water off there to the left. You can see him stumbling. He does not look coherent for the most part in this moment. And so as he's continuing down, he kind of even stops. Like, does he say something to those? No, he just he does not know. He might be turned around, which is what his stepfather is saying. Like, we feel like he came out and he had been to a couple of other places and maybe he got turned around on the direction that he was supposed to be going in. And so that's when they see him like wobbling on this scene and there's a lot of people out there, so people are seeing this drunk guy going down the road. Okay, a lot of eyeballs were seen on him. I feel that these people, like, generally, if you're walking down the road and someone is wobbly and cannot keep their, like, it grabs your attention. So my guess is there's tips coming in. There's phone calls going in. Someone saw something, and even in this moment, as he was coming down here and he's stumbling. Right now, there's no traffic, right? But then he falls, and then all of a sudden the traffic seems to slow down. Is that related? Did they see him fall and they're like, "Look at that guy there. He's not okay." Now, granted, I see a lot of people posting about why didn't anyone stop and help him. Generally, you see, if you were on the streets, I'm from the streets of New York. I've seen a bunch of that happen, right? I didn't stop and say, "Can I help you?" It's like, I'm guessing you're going to fall there and fall asleep and wake up and regret it. Right? I've had a friend who got so belligerent, drunk, passed out on the train, then got robbed, woke up, and his pants were ripped. Right? But at the same time, it's like you don't really think, well, this person is really drunk. Let me help them get to their destination. Because that could be dangerous for you as well. So, all the people that are going by, I don't expect many to even stop, except a cop. You would have liked to thought maybe someone called 911 and said this guy is going to hurt himself. That's a different story, right? Because he is a danger to himself. That's why public intox is a thing, right? They're a danger to themselves. They're a danger to others, in a freak accident way or even other ways. But before you know it, no one can find him. Right? And so the next morning, the fraternity brothers, they're like, "Where is he? We don't really know where he's at." Well, Different Ways says that someone might have seen him, but they didn't know where he was. And so before you know it, they're like, they try to find him using his Snapchat location, but they were unsuccessful. And they called the police to report him missing. So he had been gone. Basically, if this was about 10 p.m. at night, he's gone the next day. And no one knows where he's at. So you have to question, like, okay, if that's the case, then at what time did the Snapchat location stop? Because you should be able to have that thing follows you for the most part. But they say that his last cell phone location was recorded between Gay Street and James Robertson Parkway, close to the bar where he was last seen. So there's got to be more video as to, generally, you do not walk down the road without having some type of video. Well, police, they've attempted to locate his phone, but have drawn a blank while also checking local hospitals and jails to see, did anyone show up? And so he continues to be missing. They even conducted a helicopter search on Tuesday to go through the whole downtown Nashville area, seeing if there is using their infrared stuff, is there something that could have, is there something going on down there? Because we don't really know what would have brought that, right? We don't really know. At the same time, what we are trying to see is, okay, what could have happened? Well, the video, there's got to be more video. That is my thought process in that. There has to be more video. But if you look at his Facebook profile and his I mean, the guy, he says right here, financial representative at Northwestern Mutual. He was 22 years old. So does that mean he was getting ready to graduate, already got a job, or he was on his way to graduate? So we're going down the little rabbit hole and we're going to see a little more. He lives in Springfield, Missouri. His parents are worried sick for him. And that's why you are asked, if you know anything, contact Nashville Police Department. But they have attempted to locate his phone, which again has pinged in some areas, and they even conducted a helicopter search. Now, his mother, Michelle, she describes him as a great kid and normally very communicative. Like, he communicates with her on a very regular basis. And she says, we miss him and we want him back so bad. He's always texting me, calling me, FaceTiming me. He's always in touch with me. He's very communicative. That's what she shared about her son. They are worried. Now, even country singer Luke Bryan, who is one of the owners of the bar, he took to Instagram and he said, y'all, this is scary, praying for his safe return, because this is very scary. These type of things do not. And so we're continuing to follow. Is there any update? Do we know where he's at? Right now he's missing. 6'5"? Is he that? I mean, I I didn't know that he was, I thought he was more like around 6'6", 165 pounds. That's what Nashville Metro Police Department described him as, with blonde hair and brown eyes. Now, the TC restaurant group, the operator and another owner of the bar, they said that they're continuing to work with the Metro Nashville Police Department with any video footage, any security cam footage, any way that they can potentially help. That's what they're saying. But they also do say that, our thoughts are with the family and loved ones for his safe return, because even though they kicked him out of the bar, no one wants to see this stuff happen, right? And we don't know what got him kicked out. This is just a developing story as it continues, like what could have happened to this young kid. The University of Missouri, they even released a statement saying that they've been in touch with the family and authorities in Nashville who are working to find the student. Again, he's a student at the University of Missouri, which is in Columbia, Missouri, which is about 2 hours from St. Louis, where I'm at. Now, that's a big school itself. For them to go to Nashville, which there's a lot to do there for college students, but for the fraternity to go down to Nashville in order to have this big event, it was a big event because they only, they wanted to have a great time, right? Nashville is something that is, what's it, about from there, maybe 4 hours is my guess, because it's 4 to 6 hours, I'm guessing without even looking. But let's even look real quick and see how far that is. So if they're in Columbia, Missouri, all right, they're at Mizzou, University of Missouri, let's say in Columbia, and this is going to be just obviously a rough guesstimate, going to Nashville, Tennessee. All right, so you have 6 hours and 25 minutes. So 6.5 hours, depending on how you drive, right? That's probably posted for the speed limit. But it's an easy route from there. Okay, so they're having to go through St. Louis to get there. Now, as you dive into this, you wonder, okay, what else is it? Well, if you want to follow along, there is a post, a group called Riley Strain Missing Nashville, Tennessee. And if you want to follow this story, that it's a public group. Now, granted, as this story gains even more momentum, and then all of a sudden it gets out. It might become a private group, because you know how it happens when you get hundreds of thousands of people. You get a lot of misinformation and a lot of scary things. But as you know, people want to share and they want to get justice and figure out what is going on with this college student. My friends, thank you for joining me on another episode of Deep True Crime. You are asked to call police at 615-862-8600 if you know anything about the whereabouts of Riley. You see, granted, Riley was out doing what college kids do: party harder than they probably should, and making mistakes like they would when you're under the influence of stuff, right? And but at the end of the day, he doesn't deserve to be disappearing, missing. He could have bumped his head, lose conscious, not know. I don't know. There's so many different scenarios that could be played, but truth is, his family deserves to have answers. He deserves to be and here where he he a person does not just get up and vanish and disappear. So there's a chance that we're not done hearing about this, and if there are any updates, I will be sure to share. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. That way you get notified whenever I go live or I upload any content. I'm Manny Rodriguez, and this has been another episode of Deep True Crime. Until next time, my friends, peace. Have a great day.